Not too close up, but not too far away. If I say something hell out of pocket, it's just me trying to be entertainment.
I know it's part of the,
Yeah.
But, you know, just keep it.
Just play along with it.
Yeah, it's all good.
Hi guys, welcome. I have here
Jwil, owner of Jwil Clothing, born and raised in the Bay Area, hyphy, organic, positive vibes.
Okay, Jwil Clothing. Tell me about yourself a little bit, just a little tease. How'd you get into clothing? Why clothing?
Okay, so there was a point I was kind of going through a rough time and dealing with homelessness, drugs, trauma of that nature, and I wound up going inside of jail, and while in jail, I really sat with myself and was like, man, I can't keep doing this. Like, I got to do something different. I was in a place to where people were recovering, and working on getting their life together, doing groups and classes of that nature. So, I'm pretty sure the stories are real, but I don't have no eyewitness, stories of that, so.
So, Jwil, would you say you were street? You got street cred?
I don't know if I'm the street person to look up to. I would say, there's good and bad in all situations, and everybody that goes through, the streets, doesn't always come out a winner, doesn't always.
Are you a winner?
At this point, yeah, most definitely. I had to leave that street mentality alone. I had to leave, certain people, places, and things, and so, I'm grateful to be where I'm at right now, and it's just part of the process, my journey. Nothing to say bad about the streets. I understand some people, it is what it is, but for me, I know that I could do better,
But why clothing though? Like, did you see it on TV or the way people dress? Like what?
Well, so I can, as a youth, I can always remember, always kind of being stylish, and dressing up and, wanting to look nice and feel nice. So there was points where I couldn't afford certain types of clothes. So, I would have to make my own clothes. I used to sew a little bit, sew like patches on my jeans and stuff of that nature. So, but at that point, I was watching, sports like most people do in that position, in jail. They watch a lot of sports. So as I was watching the Warriors game, I was like, man, those jerseys, they keep using the same type of jerseys. It's like, I can make something better than that, and so that's where it started. I just, I drew a little jersey mock-up. I was like, hey, I need some paper and a pencil, and I just started creating different type of ideas of jerseys, and it went from jerseys to hats, and I was like, oh yeah, I think I found something I really love,
Okay, and so you start by drawing. Walk me a little bit in how your process works.
Okay, well, at that point, being in jail, you have very limited accesses, to like pencils and papers and things of that nature. But where I was at, we did have a little bit more access. So, I would just get a piece of paper and a pencil, and I would draw a jersey, an outline of a jersey. I would draw like the Golden State Warriors logo, and then I would base it off of there. I'm like, okay, how can I add to this jersey? How can I make it more urban or more, cool or more, fashionable, and so that's why I just started adding stuff, and I knew it came to a point to where if I was going to really start making stuff like this, that I would have to be careful with the logos and not, whatnot. But at this point, it was just the beginning. So, but yeah, and then now, I'm fortunate enough to be able to use the computer. I'm able to create mock-ups off of the computer. I still do the sketching as well with certain, pieces that I'm dropping. But for the most part, right now, I'm using the computer.
Okay. And who is your role model?
Oh man. First and most importantly, my father. He was definitely someone that I looked up to, and I still do. I'm admired by his courage, and his discipline. To stay on the right path no matter what's going on in the world. So yeah, but it branched off, to like sports figures, growing up in the hood, so I looked up to Allen Iverson, because when he came into the game, he looked at more like me than Michael Jordan did. Michael Jordan was bald headed, but growing up, everybody had an afro and cornrows. So when Iverson came in, he had the tattoos and the gold chains. It was like, oh yeah, that's us, So
do you have tattoos?
I have one little tattoo. It's a J. Nothing too spectacular. Yeah, nothing too spectacular.
What is something that people don't really know about you?
Well, I'm still kind of new on the scene, so I guess I could definitely just introduce myself and say that I love fruits and vegetables.
You lost me there.
Oh yeah, at a certain point in my, I was like, nah, I don't want the vegetables or the fruits. But as I got older, I started to see the value within them, and just the benefits that I'm starting to see with them. So yeah, I like fruits and vegetables.
Do you do like smoothies?
Oh, yep, smoothies. I eat fruit raw. I don't really like to cook vegetables too much, If I do, I use the oven. I used to be a landscaper. I love plants, trees.
Okay. Was not expecting that one. Okay.
Yeah, and
does being in nature inspire you to create? What inspires you to make stuff?
Yeah, that's most definitely part of the inspiration in the beginning was also too with nature, So I was able to start get books and stuff and kind of read on like just artists and fashion and stuff. But then I started looking at nature books, and I started looking at like the birds and the zebras and just started looking at their coats, and just being like, man, that's cool. Like that's something
you
like.
You just mentioned a zebra.
Yeah, zebra. Yeah.
Can you make a zebra shirt for me?
I can. I don't know if I can use the exact skin of the zebra.
No, I want an actual zebra.
Oh, yeah.
And to top it off, I'm gonna just ask.
Yeah, no worries.
Can we start a fashion clothing line?
Oh yeah. Well, and I mean, what do you mean? What do you mean?
We'll call it the Crybabies. He asked me one time we were working, and he asked me if I had a nickname, and tell him what I said.
Oh yeah. She said Crybaby. Yeah.
My nickname's Crybaby, so we'll name it Crybaby, and it'll start off with the zebra logo somewhere. How's that? How's
dope.
that?
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, that's dope.
And we're gonna get to work on that. A JJJ production.
Ooh,
clothing
nice.
line.
Yeah,
where the J came from, I don't know, but 3 is better than 2 or 1.
Yeah.
What do you have that you're working on next? What is your next project or something that you're excited about to do?
So right now,
where can these people find you?
So right now, so y'all can check me out on Instagram at JWIL_clothing. That's where you'll see me most active at. You can also check me out at TikTok at JWIL. And so
Go find him.
Oh, yeah,
he does
please.
zebra clothing, like actual zebras. He'll do socks, he'll do shoes, he'll do it all. He does it all,
good.
right?
Yeah, it's all good.
All hats.
We can work it out, man. We can work it out. But yeah, I definitely got this new project coming out. So not to really spoil it too much, but for the base right now, I'm using a Levi's trucker jacket.
Okay.
And so I'll be incorporating that piece with my inspiration with nature. And so it'll be a piece, something that they call it wearable art, and stuff.
Okay.
And so I don't want to spoil it too much, but if y'all stay tuned with my Instagram, y'all definitely will.
We'll talk about wearable art in the podcast. That's gonna be next. We're just kind of teasing our collaboration.
For sure.
Expect a lot more from us.
For sure. For sure.
And I'm excited to make hats. I think, nature hats. I don't know, some crazy. Anyways, find him, subscribe to him, subscribe to me. Go zebras, pandas.
Yeah, no, I just want to, man, thank you, for giving me this opportunity.
Animal cruelty.
You know.
All right, cut. We're done.